Taste of Country Nights with Evan Paul on demand, season 2, episode 18 with Lainey Wilson. You gonna get back in Yellowstone?
This is what I'm thinking. First of all, Taylor Sheridan, he knows how to tell a story. And I keep telling him, I'm like, put me back in when y'all when y'all do the thing, you better put me back in. So I'm waiting to see what's going on with it, truthfully.
We had a long talk with 2023 CMA Entertainer of the Year, Lainey Wilson. Man, she's got a lot going on. She took some time to talk to us, and we're proud to have it here on Taste of Country Nights on Demand. If you missed some of our past episodes, go ahead and check it out. We got Brothers Osborne was just on, Ann Wilson, Tyler Hubbard, Chris Young, Keith Urban, Luke Bryan. They've all been on recent episodes of Taste of Country Nights on Demand. Wherever you get your favorite podcasts, this podcast is part of the Town Square Media Podcast Network. Oh, now what's happening, Lainey? You got any funny stories of hearing wildflowers and wild horses in the wild?
I don't know if I have like fall out of your chair kind of laughing story, but I will say when I wrote this song, I sent it home to my mama, and she listened to it and she was like, I think this might be my favorite song of yours, period. And then she told me about how my great-grandfather, so her grandfather, my great-grandfather, caught one of the very last wild horses in Louisiana, and he used it for farming for like 10 or 15 years before it passed away. So I had no clue about that when I wrote Wildflowers, Wild Horses.
Look, won't God do stuff like that? Look at that. We got this documentary coming. Is there something that your fans will be surprised about learning about you?
Honestly, I think it's just going to be diving deeper, kind of like you're going to see me behind the scenes a little bit more than you do, and going to kind of see, I guess, just the feelings that come along with doing all this stuff, the good, the bad, the ugly. So it's going to be cool. I want everybody to feel like they know me, and I want to feel like I know them too. And I think that's just going to be another way to make that happen.
Okay. I had Jelly Roll in not too long ago, and he was talking about, I want to quote him. He said, "First of all, let's praise Lainey. I pride myself on being a really hard worker. This is what I say to people. I do the stuff that other people in this town won't do. Lainey does the stuff that I won't do. She is willing. She is working. Her work ethic is next level." What do you have to say to that?
I'll take it. I will take it. But I will say, if Jelly Roll don't beat me with the whole work ethic thing, I think he comes in a close second, because he's always somewhere. I'm like, man, I thought I was the only one running around. He's like, I've been running around too. But it's fun. I mean, this is what we asked for, and I feel so blessed and lucky to be a part of what's happening right now.
And, hard work is as much in your deal as bell bottoms. Have you ever gone too far and crashed, overdone it?
Oh my gosh. There has definitely been a few times where I'm like, I am so tired, I can't even hardly form a sentence. But I think everybody gets that way. I mean, I've seen my mama get that way. My mama's a teacher, she pours her heart and soul into teaching these kids. And I think we all kind of run out of steam every now and then, but you just got to figure out what is that thing that kind of refills your cup, and also make sure that you're getting the kind of sleep that you need, because lack of sleep can make you crazy. So
all right, let's not be humble right now. Where do you keep your Entertainer of the Year trophy?
So I don't have my trophy just yet. Supposedly it comes in the mail 8 months after you win, so I'm waiting for my trophy. But I did buy this old vintage gold and glass looking shelf. I think it comes from the 70s, and I got a place upstairs. I'm gonna hang it or put it on the shelf right next to the other ones, and make sure I look at it every now and then.
And I'm sure that a lot of people reached out to you when you won. Were there any that surprised you or really touched your heart?
The one text message that I got that really touched my heart was Luke Combs. He sent me, when I tell you he sent me a novel, I feel like I had to pull out my scroll and read this text that he's got. he was just speaking life over me and telling me how proud he was of me and trying to remind me that, you know, that I was that girl living in that camper trailer in 2013, and that he just reassured me that, you know, that I did deserve it and welcome to the club. And I was like, all right, I'm in the club.
So who are like your big brothers, would you say, in country? You got Luke Combs, Jelly Roll. Like who are some other big brothers?
Hardy. He's more like my twin brother, you know. No, I have so many friends in the industry, and they do, a lot of them treat me like I'm their little sister. I mean, even Colson and Dale, they all kind of treat me that way, which I love because they'd fight for me.
Yeah. Okay. Is there a Lainey Wilson song that is the most played in the Lainey Wilson household?
I get tired of myself, Evan. I ain't trying to listen to myself. I'm getting on my own nerves. I can't even get on Facebook without seeing my big old head. No. Man. So it's probably music that is not out just yet, because I listen to like demos and I listen to my work tapes over and over and over again just to make sure that like they hit me the same way every single time I hear it. And those are the ones that kind of stand the test of time and the ones that I end up recording and putting on a project at some point. But yeah, sometimes I feel like you got to listen to them over and over and over, just to make sure that you're kind of hearing it from a lot of different angles.
Okay. And you've had like 3 or 4 number ones now, and you know there's a trap where artists, you know, they feel like maybe they need to make an album that sounds like their last album. Who challenges you to push the boundaries of yourself, like creatively?
My producer, Jay Joyce. He is the one that he's helped me find what bell bottom country sounds like, not just the record, but like the bell bottom country sound. But also with just like the way that I write, I feel like I grow in a certain direction, and I need to make sure that each project kind of is in line with that, I guess you could say. So we've been working, we've been getting some things together, and I feel like I've got my songwriting people, my co-writers, they kind of push me, they help me figure out, okay, how can we get even more vulnerable? How can we step outside of that box? So I try to keep people like that close, because if you don't have people that are pushing you and encouraging you to like still stay true to yourself, but also like don't be scared to try something a little different too, what are you doing?
What are you doing? How's your pops, man? We haven't got an update in a while.
Thank you. He is great. Mama sent me a video of him the other day riding a horse in the front yard. So he's back at it. So thankful. It's a miracle. And it has taken him a long time it's taken him about 2 years to kind of get back up on his feet. So he's back at it though. You can't slow a cowboy down.
Shoot, he's on the horse. Yeah, shoot. All right, finally, what will we learn about Lainey Wilson on this next album?
What will you learn about me on this next album? You're gonna learn, how can I say this without giving everything away? I mean, you're gonna learn that there's more to the story, and this pretty much, you know, my life has been moving at a rapid pace the past 2 years, really, like since I have put out a body of work. And I tried to make sure that I kind of took you on that journey. I wanted to make sure that I was writing music that was real to me and true to me, but that also that other people could relate to. So I'm not writing about tour buses, and I'm not writing about airports and stuff like that, but I'm writing it from a perspective that still speaks to where I'm at in my life, but I think a lot of other people can relate to.
What on your, I know you can't like talk about Yellowstone or whatever, but did you want your love interest to like happen? Did you want your characters to like end up together?
Like in the end, is that what you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, so this is what I'm thinking. First of all, Taylor Sheridan, he knows how to tell a story. And I keep telling him, I'm like, put me back in when y'all when y'all do the thing, you better put me back in. So I'm waiting to see what's going on with it, truthfully.
Okay.
And, I think it would only make sense.
How was Duck watching that kissing scene with you?
So I'll be honest with you. I mean, he ain't gonna let me smack it up on nobody, but he also knows that I have worked really hard for opportunities, and that he's like, at the end of the day, I love you, you love me, you do what you got to do. Yeah, it was work.
Okay, all right, that's what I'm talking about. Well, dude, we appreciate you spending some time with us, man. We'll get Wildflowers and Wild Horses up to #1 again. Let's do it.
Let's do it. It's good to see you.
You too. You have a good one. We'll catch up with you. All right, bye. All right, we got a special bonus on this episode here. Country newcomer Ashley Cooke, her song Your Place is shooting up the charts. She stopped by the studio and talked with us. Evan Paul here, hanging with Ashley Cooke. What's happening?
Hello.
Man, you've made it. This is a deal. You got a lot of people that are talking about you.
Thank you. That means a lot. That really does.
Your song's climbing up the charts.
Thank you. It's crazy.
Do you check in with the status of it every day, like some people do the stock market?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
So very early on, my manager, she was like, hey, don't obsess over it because you can't really control it. So just let it be and just do whatever you can. Make the friends that you want to make and just, have fun and enjoy radio tour and all the things. But if you obsess over it, if you wake up every day and check it, it's just going to make you go crazy. So just let it be. Get the text every week to say where it is on the chart and roll with it.
Really? So you never cheat and check on it?
I don't. And I hope that, let's say hopefully if it goes #1, right?
Yeah.
I'm just going to get a screenshot of the chart and post that. I'm not going to go on there myself. Yeah, it freaks me out. I don't, because I can't control it. And some things that you can't control, it's hard to obsess over them. So,
who has told you that they were a fan of your music that it kind of like shocked you, or it was like, oh, wow. Okay.
Man. Okay, I would say the first time my Opry debut backstage, the lineup was me, Jelly Roll, and Gary LaVox. And I love Gary. I've been a big fan of Rascal Flatts for a long time. But I was backstage walking through the backstage area, and Jelly stops me and he goes, Ashley. Never met him before. He's like, Ashley. I'm like, hello, sir, Jelly Roll. Like, hello. Like, shake the hand, do the thing. And he was like, I love your song. I can burn it down, be a dive bar closer. One of my songs off like my first, I think it was like right before my album dropped. And I was like, oh my gosh, Jelly Roll knows my song. This is crazy. And so he was one that kind of caught me off guard. And he's such a good, just amazing dude. And he's so supportive of everybody in the industry. But yeah, he like sang my song to me. And I was
That's got to be a crazy feeling.
It was so wild. It was so fun.
You won't get a Jelly Roll face tat.
Hey, we'll see. If I ever do a song with Jelly, I might get a face tat. We'll see.
Okay, all right. Well, we're gonna hold you to that because we'll revisit back on this. Who's your dream artist that you want to write a song for?
Write a song for? That's a great question.
Thanks. Like, I know you're a songwriter. You know, who would it be like? Oh my gosh, this person just cut one of my songs.
I feel like I'd want to challenge myself and do something like, oh man. I feel like, okay, Kenny Chesney is somebody that I feel like we align. We're great friends, and I feel like it'd be a really fun. We're both from beachy. We love the beach. We love, that kind of music and that kind of world. So I think that'd be a really fun one to get to do. I also am friends with a lot of people that write his stuff. So I think that'd be fun. That's not really challenging myself. It's kind of, I feel like it's already in kind of like what I do, which would be awesome.
What would it be about?
If I wrote for Kenny?
Yeah. Like, let's write the song.
See, okay, I would want to co-write right now. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Call up Kenny. Let's go. I think, okay, so personally, my favorite Kenny song is Knowing You.
Oh, yes.
And so I think, like, of course, you could go, like, more like the beachy, No Shoes Nation, pirate country type of stuff that Kenny does. But I think, personally, I'd want to write something that just rips your heart out, like a Knowing You or a You and Tequila. That's kind of what I would go for. Something like clever that's, like, just, oh, my gosh, how is this song not written yet? That kind of song.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a lot of pressure, but that's the kind of song that I'd hope to write.
You seem to have a new love interest, but okay, so we've really dug deep into this. We've seen kind of the back of his head and like the side of his head. Was there a conversation like, yo, this is how we're going to soft launch? It's going to be the back of your head. He
laughs at me a lot. We've been together for a minute now, and I I think to me, so first off, we've been friends for like 7 years and we just recently kind of started like officially dating.
Okay.
But yeah, I think to me, I've been in a lot of relationships and I've seen it kind of take a toll when you go on social media, like public about it. And so I think for me, he doesn't care. He's like, whatever you want, babe, you do you. Like if you want to post about it, you can. If you don't, all good, don't care. He's very supportive of whatever I want to do. But I think to me too, like so much of my life now in the best way is so public. And I love that. And it's, also based off, TikTok and Reels and YouTube and whatever it is, I'm super open with everything in my life. I feel like I'm very just transparent about myself and what I do. And there's something about having that just for me that's kind of nice and kind of like romantic in a way. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll post like his face one day. We'll see.
Okay, I mean, like, what if he's like self-conscious about the right side of his head? You have no clue.
He would tell me, but he's not. He's a confident guy.
Okay, all right. Did you ever take any other like advice from notable couples? Like Lainey Wilson kind of did a soft launch.
100%. Yeah, Lainey and we've talked about it a little bit. I think for me, so Lainey always says, "What would Dolly do?" And I feel like that. I kind of follow the same world where like Dolly, she never even posted or not posted because it wasn't really a thing, but like she never brought her husband to events. She never really did that. And she said it's because he didn't like it. He didn't like to come to the events. That's what she's always said. But I think there was a beauty behind like people focusing on her music and not necessarily who she's dating. I think that's a really cool thing to kind of, try to go after. Yeah. And Lainey did the same thing. She didn't introduce her boyfriend to the world until she already was 2 number ones deep, I think. Yeah, it was
recent. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think it's kind of, there's something cool about that. Like, I love that people care. I really do love that they're invested in who I'm with and who my songs are about. But I also am like, damn, like I'm chasing a music dream right now. And I'm like,
people asking about this?
Focus on that for now. But we'll see. Yeah. He really is great. So we'll see if that ever comes out,
Why are
publicly.
People like on TikTok wanting you, they want you and Chase Beckham to be in a relationship?
Really? People are saying that?
Yeah. It's,
I didn't know that.
What the kids say called a ship.
They ship me and Chase Beckham?
There's a lot of people shipping you and Chase Beckham. A lot of people, there's a couple rumors that that was the side of Chase Beckham's head.
Really?
I don't know. I'm just talking internet talk.
I've heard, the comedian Matt Rife?
Yes.
A lot of people have said that my boyfriend looks like Matt Rife.
Okay.
Which, like, Matt Rife's hot. So, like, I was like, get it, babe. Get it, babe. But yeah, I've never heard Chase Beckham. We toured together with Luke Bryan, and he's great. But yeah, I haven't heard that one. Love you, Chase, but not my boyfriend.
Not that way.
Like, nope.
What were your go-to CDs as a teenager?
Go-to CDs. What was the first Hillary Duff CD? That like it was like a blue background. She was like
had like So Yesterday on it.
Yeah. Was it Come Clean? Was that the record? That
sounds right. There was a song on there called that. So maybe.
Yeah, I always laugh because
I used to do pop. That's how I know.
Nice. Yeah, the album cover is brutal. To be honest, love you, Hillary. Not trying to hate on it. I'm sure she probably hates it too now. But she's literally like.
I know what you're talking about.
Such a yes, that's right. And it's like I'm like, who approved this? Like what? That was like one of my go-to CDs growing up. I also loved Taylor Swift debut CD was like a huge one. Our Song. I have such vivid core memories of singing that in the car with my best friends and my aunt and my mom and stuff. I think those two were like my main two.
Okay, that's good. Was that the one with Drew looks
at me? I could. Oh my gosh.
Couldn't go anywhere without hearing like White Horse and
100%. People say like obviously choose your Taylor era that you love, and to me Debut will always be it. I love Debut. It's just her. Oh, she's so good.
Tell me a time about. Is there a funny time where you got noticed where like you didn't want to? Like you're going into the truck stop bathroom and someone's like, "Boom, you're Ashley Cooke." I'm like, oh, am I?
There's been so many times this has happened. Honestly, so. I'm about to move into my first house.
Oh, congrats.
Thank you so much. Yeah. But I've lived in a downtown condo for a long time. And there's been so many times where I'm like whitening my teeth or like have a bun on my head. It just looking rough.
Yeah.
And I'll be in like the weirdest clothes, my boyfriend's clothes or something. And I'll be in the elevator and somebody's like, are you Ashley Cooke? And I'm like, no. I'm like, that ain't me. That's not, no. I'll never lie.
You go with it?
Actually, this is not a funny place, but I played the Opry a couple nights ago, and me and my band went to Olive Garden afterwards because like it's Olive Garden.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love Olive Garden?
OG.
And we were sitting in like the entranceway waiting for a table, and my guitar player Chauncey, his wife Mason, is the sweetest human. She's blonde, she has blue eyes, like very, we don't look alike, I wouldn't say, but like you don't know who I am or what I look like, and it's just blonde girl, whatever, like you would think that's me. This woman walks in without her glasses on. And she goes, "You guys just played the Opry, didn't you?" And my guitar player's like, "We did, yes, ma'am." And she was like, "And Ashley," and points to my guitar player's wife. And we all were like, "Just go with it. Just go with it." So she signed a thing for her.
What?
She took a picture. She acted like she was me, and I was just howling. We, of course, corrected it afterwards, and I like went out and said hi and like made it right. But it was so funny. So that's like a fake notice thing.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was good.
What? Congrats on the bus life.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are you going to miss about the van life, if anything?
You know, this sounds so cheesy, and I swear I'm not meaning it to be like preachy or whatever, but the van, it's such an important phase for young artists to go through. Like, we were in it for about 3 years, and I slept on the van bench most nights, and me and my band have so many memories of being in that van. Like, there was one time driving through, I think it was Kansas. It was dark out, pitch black dark out, and we were like heading back home. We drove through the night most nights because it's just we wanted to get home to have a day at home to like with our families and stuff before we leave again. And so we would drive through the night, and all of a sudden it's like probably 2 a.m. I want to say, and my guitar player's driving. He slams on the brakes. We all go flying into the front of the car. We're like, "What is happening?" We all like pop up from the floorboard, and he's like, "I almost hit a deer." And we're like, "What? Okay, back to sleep." Like, it's just so normal. So I think there's a lot of moments like that I'm really gonna miss.
It's
and
like
granted,
summer camp.
it really is. And honestly, the bus feels even more like summer camp because we're all in our bunks, and I have a little bed in the back, and I'll open up the thing, and they're all like, "Good morning." So it's very fun. Yeah, I mean, I think I'll just miss like the communal aspect of the van, and it felt like we were really in the trenches together, like putting in the work. But the bus is really exciting, and it feels like we were achieving something. So,
did anybody give you like bus advice? Like, I think like Miranda Lambert told Parker McCollum not to get one too early and wait a little. Did anyone give you bus advice?
Man, I mean, I've always been told, I told my team I don't want to get one too early because there were times that, certain shows we could have had a bus or whatever. And I was like, I don't want to get to a place where we have a bus for a weekend and we don't have a bus for a weekend. We have a bus. It's like you want to like move to the bus phase and stay there. You don't want to feel like it's like a weird morale thing. I will say, this is kind of a funny one, but you can't poop on the bus.
Yes, yeah.
You cannot poop on the bus.
Right.
And so I've had people tell me that, and I've had to tell people that. So it's kind of like the advice I could give is
But you can't poop in the van, so
you can't poop
it's
in the
not
van.
something you're used to.
You're right. But we do pull over to like go to like a Love's or whatever
Sure.
while we're on the road versus in the bus, you just kind of like deadhead to wherever you're going. So it's a little different. You have to like full blown tell your bus driver like, "Hey, so it's like about that time."
Okay. And you
gotta
have to try to schedule it out.
Yeah,
kinda.
you have to.
Gotcha. Okay.
Get to the venue in time.
Yes.
Talking about bowel habits here. Let's go. Good morning, everybody.
And you're really close to your family and your parents. They seem like a love story in themselves. How is that crafted? How you write and just you in general?
Yeah. Well, so my parents, they met when they were 15 and 17, and they're from Fort Wayne, Indiana. So they met in high school, and they've been together ever since. They got married when they were like, 21, 22, and had me and my sister when they were like 30. So they've had a really cool life. They've moved around a lot, lived a lot of life, and seen a lot of places together. And I think for me, my sister and I joke around about how we never want to get married because it's never going to be like their marriage.
Right.
And I've just, I've seen them grow, and I've seen them change into different people and love each other throughout all the years. And they are truly my best friends. They are some of the greatest people on the planet. But yeah, I think for me, like, it's shaped me in so many different ways, being close to my family. Like, again, we moved around a lot growing up too. Like, I lived in 19 homes before I was 18. Like, we moved around a lot.
Oh.
Yeah. And I think going through all of that, being in the entertainment industry really young, we've seen a lot of people that have had hard times with it, that have, grown up in it young and didn't have a great family unit to help them get through it. I fortunately really did. And so I always had my mom to go through to ask questions, or my dad, or, I was always able to kind of have that family unit to go back to and find some comfort and understanding in. So I'm very lucky.
Wait, why'd y'all move so much?
Well, my dad was a corporate guy. So he, graduated from GE and graduated from Purdue, went straight into GE, working. And he's just always kind of been like a business guy, moving around for that. And then my sister got super into acting young. And so we moved around to like LA for that. And yeah, we just it's always been on the go for us.
Okay. Is your sister still acting?
She is. Yep. Yeah. She has a corporate job on top of that, but she also, her dream is to be in like a Hallmark film, or what's the, is it GAC? No, what's the what is Candace Cameron Bure's
Oh, I know what you're talking
company?
about. Yeah, I don't know, but
I forget what it's called,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
she's like, her dream is to work with Candace Cameron Bure and be in that kind of world.
That's
Angel
so
Studios or something.
cool.
Yeah.
So she wants to do like Christmas movies and make them in like July.
Kind of.
Yeah. That kind of deal.
And she just wants to make like positive content. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What does she think about your whole deal?
Oh, she loves it. She's my date to the CMT Awards this year.
Oh, that's sweet.
Because I'm nominated, so I'm very excited.
Congrats.
So thank you so much. So yeah, but she is so supportive. She's a year older than me, and we're like the best of friends. We say we're twinsters because we're a year apart, but we're more like twins than we are just sisters. So yeah, she's incredible, and we're the best of friends, and she's so supportive and kind, and I have a really lucky family unit. I really do.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Okay.
Yeah.
What's next for you this year?
Well, Jordan Davis Tour US version, because we did the European UK tour. That starts in April, here in a couple weeks. And then we do Canada with Jordan Davis. And then we're planning my second leg of my headline tour. So
Nice.
yeah, very fun.
Who does the best tour gifts? Like Luke Bryan, Jordan Davis, Cole Swindell?
That's a great question. I'd say, I think Cole's the most like intentional. Like he really cares. I feel like he has a great team around him that gets to know everybody. So his team, like his tour manager, Daryl, is amazing. And he like is very kind and leans in to understand who you are and what you like. So he helps Cole pick out gifts.
What did he get you?
He got me a pair of Golden Goose sneakers, which are like really, really cool and super comfy. I mean, he got them with like the Miami version because I'm from South Florida.
Got it.
So we got like the South Florida Golden Goose, which were like an amazing gift. Like great. I was like, what is this?
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then Brett Young got some really amazing stuff too. He got like some jewelry and stuff. So I have a lot of really awesome friends in this industry, and yeah, they give really great gifts.
That's cool.
Yeah,
cool.
it's a lot of
Well,
fun.
thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, guys.
All right, let's bring in Billy Dukes from behind the camera to talk about these two interviews with these two young ladies.
Yeah, a cool note with Lainey Wilson and Ashley Cooke is they both had a song in the top 10 at the same time, and it's like the first time that two women, solo female artists, have had a top 10 single at the same time in a couple of years. It's been a bit since we've had two women in the top 10, and they kind of broke that trend.
Yeah, and I like that they're supporting each other, which is the case for pretty much all the women and men in country music for that matter. I mean, it's very supportive genre, so that's really cool to see that happening as well. Now, do you think Ashley Cooke is going to rise and have as many, as much success as Lainey did?
She's a strong artist, and she's got a great support team, and she's on Big Loud, which is the same record label as Morgan Wallen, Larry Fleet, and some other artists. And so far that label has had, I think like every label, they've hit and missed with some artists. Morgan certainly is a big old hit. But she is an artist that has a presence on stage and in a room that sort of captivates you, which is always a good sign. Like she interviews well, and the music and the songwriting is really good. And that song, her single, Your Place, I think it's called, it shot up. It's shooting up the charts. Like it's going really, really fast. So gosh, I don't know. I never want to predict like anybody's country music success, but like, I think that the tools and the support is in place for her, and she's built some great relationships with radios and the streamings that like it's there for her. So it's certainly possible, I think.
Yeah, that song, Your Place, before I even heard it, I saw it on paper and I thought it was about like a guy's apartment or something. And then when you hear it, I'm like, well, that's good storytelling right there. Okay.
I always kind of look for like, if people are like distracted with other things as like a reason, like maybe like they wouldn't have success, or like if I can tell like an artist isn't a label's number one priority, that's always a sign to me, okay, that this isn't going to work. But I think with the case of Ashley Cooke, like I think she is like the number one. Well, Morgan's the number one priority over there at Big Loud, but I think she is a very high priority. And that hasn't always been the case at Big Loud with their female artists, I don't think.
Okay, that sounds good. And then, Lainey's kind of in a similar situation on Broken Bow. I mean, how many female artists do they have?
Well, that's an interesting way to sort of look at things. Like, and I think Sony is a really good example of this. Like, Sony Nashville at one point had Carrie Underwood, and then she left. And then they had Miranda Lambert, Maren Morris, and Megan Maroney, like the 3 M's. But within the span of like a year, Miranda left the label. Maren went, I don't know if I want to say she went pop, but she's now a priority of like the New York label. So she's not Sony Nashville's concern any longer. That leaves Megan Moroney as all of a sudden the number one female artist at Sony, and I think that pays really, really big dividends. I don't know if Lainey is the number one priority overall, if not the number one female priority at Broken Bow, so she's going to continue to get like all the support in the world, like full attention from that label, because she's on like a hot streak in every possible way right now.
Yeah, I think the labels like Big Loud and Broken Bow and stuff like that are going to start taking over and accumulating bigger acts, with the acts they've already attracted is going to be a big factor in that, Hardy, Morgan Wallen, all those guys, and Bailey Zimmerman, I think, right?
He's on Warner. But if you look at Broken Bow, they got Jelly Roll, they have Lainey, they have Jason Aldean. They have some heaters right now. Like you're right.
They do.
They call them an independent label, which I guess kind of they are, because they're not like one of the big three, Warner, Capitol, UMG, or Sony. But they have a huge artist base right now, and really hot. Good interview with Lainey Wilson, by the way. It'd be nice to get her back in the studio, but I certainly appreciate her giving us 10 minutes of her time, sort of from a remote location, and really excited about her new album because she mentioned that Jay Joyce produced her and pushes her creatively. And I'm just a big fan of whatever that guy does production-wise. He did some Randall Lambert albums. He was all over Brothers Osborne, Little Big Town albums when they were really successful. That was all Jay Joyce. Like, he is a producer that is quietly, like, really shapes the careers of artists and sort of takes them to that next level. They sort of become, like, these huge hit makers.
Is he more like old school sounding as a producer? Like, because the acts you mentioned aren't necessarily progressive within country, right?
He always comes up with a sound for an artist that is a little bit unique to the genre. Like,
okay,
if you're sort of looking to repeat a formula, he's not your artist. But like when Little Big Town dropped Pontoon and Boondocks, that was a pretty big variation in country music, and certainly for Little Big Town. That was Jay Joyce. Miranda Lambert, her album, I think it was the Wild Card album, that was a deviation from where she had been before. Brothers Osborne's sound was a deviation from where duos had been before. Like, he always sort of takes what's popular and like just changes it a little bit, sometimes a little bit more of a raw sound. Certainly a cleaner sound, but it never sounds super mainstream, but certainly something you can recognize and get down with.
Does he go to his mailbox every day? Is there a check there from somebody?
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean I would love to know what producers get paid. I think it's a one-time check, isn't it? Like, unless you write the songs, or do they continue to get royalties? I don't know how that pays off for producers, but
I know, like in hip hop, you buy the beat, and the hook as like a one-time thing. Let's say like 50 G's for this beat. But I don't know the back end of, the royalties and stuff. But from what I read, it sounds like nobody's making any money off any music that's streaming nowadays anyway. So.
Yeah, with Lainey, she mentions like Luke Combs. We've talked to her a couple of times about Luke Combs. Like, I don't think it's a coincidence sometimes when like an artist and their friends all kind of come up at the same time. Like Luke Combs and Lainey Wilson having success at the same time. Like, I don't think that's totally coincidence. I think like there's some like making sure your friends come along sort of feel to it. Like when one artist has a hit.
Do you think they're all industry plants?
We were talking about that earlier.
If everybody's friends, maybe we're missing something here.
No, that's why I'm not a fan of the industry plant theory, is because, like, if they were just sort of like these one-off oddballs, they would kind of stand out as, like, oddballs. And no one would be like, oh, yeah, that's my boy or that's my girl. And, like, they would just sort of wither on the vine. But all these artists that end up having success, like, they quickly find their people. This is why sometimes social media artists don't really make it, is because they don't really have any people to sort of be there and support them. It's just sort of them. But no, I'm not. That
makes sense.
I don't support the industry plant theory. I think there has been attempts to do a little bit of that, but like it's been really obvious.
Okay. All right. I'm always up for a good conspiracy theory, man.
Yeah, well, I don't even think it's a conspiracy as much as it just is like people in high positions get sort of big ideas and they don't really pan out. Yeah, I don't know.
It happens a lot.
The behind the scenes business, that's a whole different podcast.